Yeah, it's a communications revolution. People begin to question their own positions. They begin to find their positions. When they say, I know my position, well, everything's gone right by, and they're standing there, and they wonder why it's all zipping by them. And it's very simple, because they're just standing there. And the rest of us are all moving. But we've all communicated now to the point, and we know we're moving. We know we're changing. We understand the word change. Before it was the dirtiest word that the establishment knew. Now that we're becoming the establishment, change is our word, man. Security is our dirty word.
When you're sitting quietly in your sitting room and you suddenly see the whole works on the screen, well, who wants to? I mean, nobody wants vicarious sex, surely. I mean, either you have your own or you don't have any, I should have thought.
I mean, whereas sex, I don't mind seeing sex in a movie just for its own sake, because I think that's one of the, you know, the more interesting human emotions.
This country was built on guns and violence, folks.
Think it has to stay that way?
Oh, wow, sure. That's a big thing.
You know, I tell you something. There's a lot of people who were violently against Hollywood. A lot of new people in cinema, some are very talented. A lot of amateurs also. I'm not an amateur, I'm professional. I know how to operate this machine. I enjoy it tremendously.
Well, I'll tell you how the movies are made. They're made just like we're doing right here and now. We just sit around and talk and just do whatever comes into our head. No script, no preparation, nothing. We see how we feel when we get up that morning. And we turn on the camera and we just do whatever we feel like doing. And whoever is the most aggressive is the star.
Any lovely came, coming lovely into my life with love, her peaceless peace, love. Baby, you have sunshine here, hold I climb above, spirit in our minds, moving in our skulls, we find no fear, my really world is love. But many had to tell, she went and broke the spell, my baby broke to tell. Any lovely game, getting lovely into the dark broad light, her peaceless peace line, tripping tall the aisle bright, that's the smoke of dreams, dripping up our minds, blowing out our mind, love's eyes lose light, my mini world is dreams. But Minnie had to tell, she went and broke the spell, my baby broke to tell.
What do you want this time?
$15,000 to finish my film.
Everybody used to know what movies were.
That's all changed now. Oh, they had a lot of things going for them. The one thing they didn't have was freedom.
In those days, kids just wanted to write the great American novel.
Other girls my age have babies already.
Yes, but remember, you're from the East. And it's 14 there. So you gotta wait a year.
When in Rome. Our new cowboy movie is the new concept of a Western. No violence, just sex. Instead of kissing the horse, he kisses the girl. But he runs off with another cowboy. We're trying to be modern. What with the population explosion and all, you never know what turn society is going to take next. And we had a lot of trouble in Tucson. As you may have heard, the sheriff tried to run us out of town.
Unsociable, huh?
No, no, we just want to entertain people and make comedies and make everybody laugh.
Make everybody laugh?
Yeah, keep people happy and laughing and gay and cheerful and excited and turned on. Right, Andy? We're making all outdoor movies from now on. The next one is going to be called San Diego Surf or Surf for Tomorrow.
And where are you going to make that one?
In San Diego. And it's going to be based on the story of Rain. It was all Andy's idea. When he saw my 1930 chiffon dress, Sadie Thompson style, he said, we'll do Rain. And we're making the story of Princess Lee Radziwill's television debut to be called Meet Me in Minneapolis.
It's all quite different now. I don't know that it's any better, because it was, we had to work. We had discipline, very strong discipline in those days. I never wanted to repeat myself. It was when I found I was repeating myself in the theater about 2 years ago that I just shut the whole thing off. I wanted to do some really creative work. And that's when the Whisperers came along, and that's exactly what I wanted, something I could really put my heart and soul in creatively, you see, and that was lovely.
Dame Edith, do you think movies really affect the way the world runs?
But you see, when you say the world is being run, we're all part of it, aren't we? We're all running it a bit. I mean, everybody's running it in their own life. I mean, you can either do or not do in your own life. You needn't conform.
The old people are dying slowly, otherwise the representatives of the Puritanism and religion and other organisms which were restricting what's healthy and beautiful in life somehow are more and more seldom. The young people are quite different. They demand different things. Make it new, they say. Make it different.
Everything's a trip, you know. I mean, this is just a planet, and we're in a solar system. And there's the moon, and look how beautiful the moon is, man. Whew. I took that little drug, did my head in rightly, and put me through a death. A really strong sequence where I came back, these many different things, and I saw all the different personalities of me just come by. And I was able to choose, because I knew by that time which was right and which was wrong of me, you know. And I said, that's it. And I came back, and I just became my own mother and my own father then. I gave birth to myself, and it gave me a great sense of freedom. When the printed word, like McLuhan says, man, you know, the printed word's obsolete. Well, when it was not obsolete, when it was the way of getting the word out, everybody had to read like mad. And that takes a long time, 20, 40 years to get the word. The word's already changed by that time. Now we've got a tube, man. You turn it on, and after they've sold you some beer, and you've washed under your arms with some soap, and you see some old Gary Cooper westerns, and those dudes doing their thing, you catch the news, see? And you see what's going on in Moscow, and you see what's going on in Paris, and you catch on what's happening in New York. There could be no choice, man. Eventually you say, wait a minute, they're doing my thing. Why aren't I doing it?
The whole trick and the secret is of creating a film by literally saying you're doing it. I mean, it's not a matter of asking someone to let you make a movie. It's to announce that you're making it. I mean, to literally, on the Rain people, Warner Brothers didn't want me to make them. I mean, they couldn't care less about this movie. I merely went into them one day and I said, it's Friday, Tuesday, we're flying to New York and we're going to shoot some film for my new movie. They said, what's it about? What's the story? You know, we got to approve it. I said, well, if you don't want to make it, I'll pay for it myself, you know? And I walked out. Now, they didn't know what to do because they didn't, maybe it was a good thing, you know? But the fact was, on Tuesday, we were there shooting. And they said, well, what's he doing, you know? The idea is you gotta really, if you've gotta really want to do something, and then nothing can stop you, I believe.
Would you tell something about your young assistant, George Lucas?
Oh, he's not my assistant, actually.
Could you tell us about your young...
Associate.
Associate, okay.
George won an award to come to Warner Brothers and observe a film being made there, and he came, we were making Phineas Rainbow, and one day I was working on the show, and I kept seeing the skinny kid with a beard, and he was always looking. I went up to him and I said, well, you know, I said, who's that? And he said, well, he's observing you.
I think the student films are the only real hope. I think they're slowly beginning to realize that students know what they're doing. You know, that they're not just a bunch of silly kids out there, you know, playing around. They're serious and they're dedicated and they're trained in all the aspects of film, not just one area. I mean, the student out of film school can not only run a camera, run a sound unit, produce and direct and write, but he can also act in many cases.
In the industry, they say that the schools aren't turning out students with commercially sound training. At student films, there's still a lot of adolescent posturing.
You got to remember that students are people. It's like, you know, I can go and say, as a student, I can say, well, you know, Hollywood's turning out some pretty bad stuff, you know. Look at some of these films they're making. Now, we don't group Hollywood as a group and say they're all bad, they're all immature, they're all, you know, exploitation. But they group us as a group. They say all students are this. And we're individuals. We're all different. You know, I would like to see the students be able to work in the establishment and hope that someday they could work in the establishment and change the establishment rather than trying to branch off into something else.
Andy, what if somebody laid like $2 million on you to make one film?
We spent $2,000 on it, keep the rest.
He'd build another church for his mother.